Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here in my quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm so glad you guys decided to join us on this Friday. Joining me also all the way from the Robservatory on the far side of the moon, where Artemis just swung by, Robert Meyer Burnett is here today. Rob, how you doing, sir?
Dude, they took some really compromising photos of me. I didn't know I got the time zones wrong, and they passed overhead, not at an opportune moment.
Everybody knows.
Today, they're coming back at 5 o'clock.
Everyone knows Rob loves his bare ass sunbathing. There's a t-shirt you got to get made. Anyway, guys, most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And you know what? Today's show's a little bit different. It's a little different today. Instead of going over a lot of various different news topics, today we are talking about one thing. We're talking about CinemaCon. CinemaCon starts technically speaking, it starts Sunday night. The real big stuff starts on Monday. And we're heading out to Las Vegas on Sunday for the annual CinemaCon. Now, for those of you who don't understand or know what CinemaCon is, CinemaCon is not a comic convention. It's not even a convention that's open to the public. What it is, it's a trade industry event. It is put on by an organization known as Cinema United, which is the trade organization that represents all the movie theaters. So CinemaCon is an event put on by movie theaters for movie theaters, where they talk about doing business as movies. They do panels and get-togethers to discuss in think circles on concessions and technology and theater seating and programming and all that kind of stuff. It is by movie theaters for movie theaters. But what makes it so special is that because all the movie theaters are getting together, it is also that time of year that all the studios come and give 2-hour presentations of all the movies they have coming out over the next 12 months. And Rob, I think it's fair to say that if you watch the John Campea Show, there's rarely a day that goes by that we don't mention something that we saw at CinemaCon last year.
Definitely.
Because every week when the new movies come out, we literally saw a presentation on those movies a year ago.
Yes.
And so it's huge, and every year there's something massive and huge, some years bigger than others, of course. This year, the only studio not going is Lionsgate. That's it. Paramount's going to be there. Warner Brothers is going to be there. Amazon MGM is going to be there. Disney, Universal Studios. I'm sure I'm missing one. Sony. They're all going to be there and giving us these big presentations. So since today is the last day before we up and leave for CinemaCon, we thought it would be a good idea today to go through the studios that are doing their presentations and what we expect to see them do presentations for. Are they going to show us trailers? That's fine. But the main thing is when they bring us big clumps of footage to show us. And sometimes they even show us the whole movies. They always walk out all the directors on stage and all the big stars on stage. They're always there. And it's always quite an event to behold. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through each individual studio and what we expect that they're going to be presenting to us at CinemaCon. So let's first start off here by taking a look at the schedule. All right. So here's the schedule as far as the studio presentations go. The first studio that's going to be kicking things off is on Monday night, where Sony Pictures is going to be doing their presentation from 6:30 to 8:30. Then on Tuesday, Warner Brothers. This is the one I think I'm looking forward to the most. But anyway, Warner Brothers is doing their presentation Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Then on Wednesday, we got a couple. Universal Pictures and Focus Features are doing theirs from 3:45 to 5:45. And then at 8:30 in the evening, a little bit late, but Amazon MGM Studios are going to be doing their presentation. And Rob, I think it's fair to say last year, they were one of the best presentations.
Oh, yeah. I mean, showing and some of those films haven't even come out yet, like Is God Is, that I think comes out in May, that I'm really looking
Yeah.
forward to. And we got Crime 101 from them. And of course, they kicked off their presentation with soundlessly, wordlessly, they just dimmed the lights and showed us 8 minutes of Project Hail Mary.
Yep.
It was a
And
great presentation.
it was a fantastic presentation. So we've got theirs coming on the same day as Warner Brother, or as a Universal, a little bit later in the evening at 8:30 p.m. Then to wrap things up on Thursday, we got two significant ones. We've got the Paramount Pictures presentation in the morning at 9:45, and then the Walt Disney Studios presentation scheduled from 2:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So that's the schedule for the studio presentations. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go down and go through what we expect to see from these presentations. So let's start things off here. Sony's up first, so let's start with them. First thing I'm fully expecting, Rob, Spider-Man Brand New Day, baby. That's going to be a big one for them. And Rob, I'll tell you right now, I'm expecting a good 10 minutes of it. I don't think they're going to give us a full screening of it. Although I wouldn't count that out completely off the books, but I think Tom Holland's going to walk out there. Tom Holland and Zendaya always go to these things. So I think Tom Holland's going to walk out on stage.
And they'll both be there.
Oh yeah, they'll both be there. So we're going to have Tom Holland walk out on stage. Zendaya's going to walk out on stage. They're going to be there for several movies. I think we're going to have Destin's going to. Destin was there last year. The director with him, he was there last year to talk a little bit about it in advance. He's going to be coming out to talk about it too. So I'm expecting like a good 10-minute scene of it, maybe more. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, what are you thinking we're going to get? Number one, do you think they're going to give us something on Spider-Man Brand New Day? I think it's an automatic. And if so, what do you think we're going to get?
Well, I think that one will get the cast. Probably, Destin will come out and speak, and probably somebody, I don't know if Amy Pascal will come out or somebody's going to come out and introduce it. And I do think they're going to show us, something more than just a clip or a trailer. I would imagine they'll show us an extended sequence. A lot of times, sometimes they'll show us the whole first 10 minutes of the movie or something along those lines.
Sometimes we've even had studios go, we're going to show you the first 30 minutes of it. And I wouldn't be shocked if they came out and said, here's the first act of Spider-Man Brand New Day. I mean, many studios have done that. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that one here.
I mean, this is a huge movie. It's following up an almost $2 billion grossing franchise entry in the last Spider-Man film. I think that there's a lot of excitement around this movie, and they're going to make a big deal about it. And, Sony, it's not like Sony has like 10 movies coming out for the rest of the year. So this is obviously their big gun for 2026. So I would imagine it's going to be quite a fun presentation.
All right. Well, let's look at some of the other films that I'm expecting we're going to see them talk about with Spider-Man along at the Sony thing. So, one of the big ones they've got coming, I think Jumanji. I think that's definitely one they're going to talk about, or I should say Jumanji 3 at this point. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson loves CinemaCon. He goes to it every chance he gets. And so I fully expect to see Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Dwayne Johnson come out on stage. I think they're going to give us... Now, they started shooting the movie a while ago, so they'll probably have some stuff to show us. Another thing I'm expecting, and this is a little bit unusual, but I'll tell you why. I'm expecting a Zelda presentation. Remember, they started shooting this a long time ago. Now, the reason why you might not get one is because there's going to be another CinemaCon before the Zelda movie comes out. The Zelda movie comes out in May of 2027, right? So we're going to get another CinemaCon right before that comes out. But because it's so close to it, I do think Sony will come out and give us a presentation on it. I'm not expecting a whole ton of stuff, but I have a feeling we'll get our first look at some footage from the movie. So that's going to be on the thing. I'm also expecting Insidious. They've got a new Insidious movie coming out, so I'm expecting that. We've got a Resident Evil movie that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Resident Evil movie is Is Krager involved with that? I can't remember, Rob, if Krager's involved with that one or
Yeah,
not.
he wrote and directed it.
He did write and direct it. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just, I think I got to copy something and move it onto something. There we go. Okay. 1 second.
That comes out in September 18th, John.
Comes out on September 18th. Okay.
And also they've been screening Resident Evil, test screening
Yes.
it, and apparently it's gone quite through the roof. People seem to love it, which,
Now,
as a follow-up to Weapons, it doesn't surprise me. And Zach Krager, obviously, is a huge Resident Evil fan.
so another one we got to put on this list is The Social Reckoning.
I was hoping you'd mention that. I can't wait.
Yeah, so because that one's coming out in October, I believe, is The Social Reckoning. So just right there, I mean,
October
I'm sure
9th.
there's going October 9th.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's going to be more. But just for Sony, just Spider-Man Brand New Day, Jumanji, Zelda, Insidious, Resident Evil, and The Social Reckoning. Okay, so aside from Spider-Man, which ones out of these are you really looking forward to seeing? And what do you think we might get from them?
Well, as a big Aaron Sorkin fan, and I love The Social Network. I think it's one of the most rewatchable movies I've ever seen, and I've probably watched it 50 times. So I can't wait to see that. I really think I'm really curious about Zelda. And if you remember years back, a year before it came out, they showed us all those behind the scenes, that footage from Wicked. Remember that when they were showing us? That was a year before the movie, and there was another CinemaCon that was happening before Wicked came out. So it wouldn't surprise me to see them giving us a little taste, because obviously this is a huge, especially coming on the heels of the hit that is Mario Universe or Galaxy. I would imagine that we would get that. And then, of course, I really want to see, I mean, look, any horror film, Insidious and Resident Evil, and coming off, I'm a Zach Krager fan. He's made 2 horror films that I really loved. Roy Lee produced, Barbarian and Weapons. So I want to see what he's done with this. I mean, everything they've got, that's a pretty strong lineup, and it's such that it's not too stacked that we'll probably get a lot of in-depth look at all of these films.
Now, I've seen some chatter in the live chat. I feel like I have to bring this up all the time. I see a lot of people saying, well, what about, will the studio talk about this show that they're doing and this show and this show? Guys, let me be very, 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 very clear about this. This is a convention of movie theaters. Movie theaters do not give 2 squirts of piss about any TV show or any streaming show. So absolutely no, there are no television shows that are going to be talked about, referenced, whatever at CinemaCon, because it's CinemaCon. It's not Streaming Con or Television Con, which I would love one of those too. But yeah, just to be clear, there are absolutely no television shows that are going to be talked about at this. By the way, I saved one for last. Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah.
Now, again, Spider-Verse will come out after the next CinemaCon, but they talk about Spider-Verse. Lord and Miller, Rob, come out every year, and they talk about Spider-Verse movies that are 3 years away. They come out there every time. They talked about Spider-Verse last year. They'll talk about it again this year. I fully expect them to give us a big update. And Rob, they even give us, like, when they gave us a big presentation on the last Spider-Verse movie more than a year in advance, when it wasn't even finished animation. Like half of it was just pencil sketches of stuff like that. So they tend to come, and Lord Miller like coming to these things and going big with Spider-Verse. So even though Spider-Verse is still more than a year away, because I believe it's coming out later in 2027, I fully expect Lord and Miller to come out on stage.
Yeah, of course.
And doing something big there. Can you think of any movies I might be missing here? So right now we're talking about for the Sony presentation, Spider-Verse, Social Network sequel, Resident Evil, Insidious, Zelda, Jumanji 3, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. That already is a pretty good lineup.
Is Meet the Parents? Is that a Sony franchise?
Oh, meet the,
I
what's
don't
it
know
going
if
to be
that's
called?
Sony. It's a Fokker-in-law. I don't know if that's Sony.
I think that might be Universal.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's Universal. Yeah, Fokker is Universal. So we'll probably talk about that in a bit. So anyway, that's Sony. Okay. Let's now move on. If I can find my spot that I lost. Yes. Time for us to move on to Warner Brothers. That will be the next one that they do is Warner Brothers. So we've gotten the Sony one, Sony super impressive lineup. Now let's do Warner Brothers. Okay. Obviously, Supergirl. They're going to be talking Supergirl. We're going to be getting a good amount of Supergirl. Also, of course, Dune 3. This is already a great year for a Warner Brothers presentation. So we're going to have Dune 3, Godzilla, what's it called? X-Kong, Supernova. Supernova. I put. Supernova is going to be another
Kombat
good one.
2, dude.
Oh my gosh. Mortal Kombat 2.
Evil Dead Burn. The End of Oak Street.
Evil
Practical
Dead.
Magic 2.
Oh, End of Oak Street, which
Digger.
they just dropped a trailer for.
Digger. Clayface. Cat in the Hat. J.J. Abrams' The Great Beyond.
What was with Digger? What was after Digger?
Digger.
Oh yeah, Clayface.
Yeah, so there's
another
Practical
DC
Magic
film.
2, Digger, Clayface, and Cat in the Hat. And The Great Beyond, which is J.J. Abrams' new movie with Glenn Powell and Sam Jackson.
I mean, just look at that list. Like, and these are lock guarantees. We're getting presentations on these. So we're going to get our first look at Clayface, which I'm very excited about. Obviously, they're going to give us some more stuff on Supergirl. We're going to get some unseen footage of Dune, Godzilla X Kong, Mortal Kombat, Evil Dead, End of Oak Street. By the way, that has been every year. There's one or two trailers that just surprise me. End of Oak Street is one of those for me, with Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway. Cannot wait for that. I think that looks absolutely fantastic. I'm trying to see if there's any other. I got it. The Cat in the Hat. I didn't put that on the list, but Cat in the Hat. Yeah. Anyway, so which ones out of this Warner Brothers list here, Rob, is really standing out to you and you're most excited about seeing something for?
I gotta say, despite Supergirl and Dune, which are obvious things to get excited about, Dune especially, the thing that I think I'm most curious about is Digger. You know, Inarritu's movie with Tom Cruise. What is it? You know, I mean, you've got Tom Cruise. Last time Inarritu made a movie, DiCaprio won, or maybe it was the second. DiCaprio won his Oscar for that film. And Digger, the most powerful man in the world, embarks on a frantic mission to prove he's humanity's savior, and that's Tom Cruise. I can't wait. I have no idea. I have no sense of what kind of a movie this is. I hope they do a presentation. I hope Tom Cruise comes out because he's a CinemaCon fan too, and introduces this because we don't know anything about it. And I would really like to see something from Clayface, which I'm sure we will. They'll probably do a DC sub presentation in that Warner thing and show some of Supergirl and show some of Clayface. And then they've got an Evil Dead movie coming out. So I want to see some of Evil Dead Burn, only because I'm an Evil Dead fan. So, hey, bring it on.
There's a couple other things.
J.J. Abrams' The Great Beyond. You know, he hasn't made a movie in a while, and it's a supernatural film. And the guys who the costume designers, Glenn and David Crossman, for Project Hail Mary, they worked on The Great Beyond, and they had some really good things to say about it. So I'm curious to see, are they going to show any of that?
Now, I also want to put in here, again, it's going to fall outside the normal time range, but this is a couple they've been very big on. The Batman 2.
Yeah.
Because remember, they announced the Batman 2 last year at CinemaCon. Right. Remember, they came out, they had Matt Reeves came out on stage. They announced the Batman. They didn't say much about it, just that it was coming. So again, they haven't started shooting this, I don't believe. No. So there's not really going to be anything to show us, but I do expect that we're going to probably have Matt Reeves come out on stage and talk about it. Here's the outside one. Hunt for Gollum. That's an outside shot. but I'm just thinking because, and I saw somebody in the live chat also mention this. Since Andy Serkis might be there to talk about the Batman 2 anyway, I think it's very possible that we could end up getting him also give a little bit of a talk about what we can expect for Hunt for Gollum. So there's that too. Listen, even without the Batman 2 and the Hunt for Gollum, what a lineup for Warner Brothers. Oh, and I have no doubt that James Gunn will either be there in person or will pop up on screen like he did last year and give us a little something about Man of Tomorrow. Again, bigger presentation for it next year, I'm sure, but they'll probably give us a little something for that here. Okay. That is Warner Brothers. Let's now move on to Universal. And of course, if we're going to talk about Universal, we got to start off with the Odyssey, Minions, or also Minions and Monsters. I am so excited for Violent Night 2 with David Harbour. I love the first one. I thought that was great. The Glenn Powell, who's he doing it with? Judd Apatow comedy that they have. I don't think they've named it yet, but Judd Apatow, of course, the guy behind 40-Year-Old Virgin, him and Glenn Powell doing a comedy where I think Glenn Powell plays a down and out country music singer, which instantly you lose my interest. I'm not a big fan of country music, but that's okay. This could still be good. Got to mention Werewolf. I'm super excited about that. Disclosure Day is coming. Then The Forgotten Island, which is that animated film. And we already know that this has been confirmed. Forgotten Island is going to be one of the screenings. They're going to do a full screening of the movie at there. So that's one they're going to be talking about as well. Yeah. Am I missing any from Universal? Let me just take a look here. So we've got the Odyssey. I mean, how much more do you need?
Know what? Michael is a co-production with Lionsgate.
Right. So, but it's being distributed by Lionsgate, right?
Yeah.
So they won't be doing anything with Michael there. That's the main reason I'm surprised that Lionsgate isn't going this year, because they've made such a big deal out of Michael on previous years, and this is the year to really push it, but Lionsgate will not be there, unfortunately.
Did you say Minions, the new Minions movie?
Minions and Monsters? Yep, that was the second one.
So then there's they have a movie called One Night Only with Callum Turner, Maya Hawke, and Monica Barbaro.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that one.
Will Gluck directed that. That's coming out in August.
Okay, and that's a Universal film?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's two New Yorkers search for love on the one night of the year when sex is legal. So I guess that's a science fiction movie.
Yeah, it sounds like a post-apocalyptic kind of.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I'll go to see that though. But yeah, that's pretty. Not a bad slate. And of course, they have You, Me, and Tuscany opening today.
Right. So they won't be talking about that because it's opening already. All right. Let's go on and talk about the next studio, shall we? And the next one we're going to talk about is Amazon MGM, where we, of course, have Masters of the Universe He-Man. We got the Thomas Crown Affair coming from Michael B. Jordan.
Can't wait.
Yeah. I've been excited about that one, actually, quite a bit. Surprise hit, The Beekeeper 2, I should say. That one's going to be coming. God is God, which looks so good. They gave us a presentation on that last year, and it looks so good.
God is. Is
God is, not God is God. Is God is. Sorry about that. So let me correct that. Is God is, which looked surprisingly good last year. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. Of course, we got Spaceballs 2, which is coming out, I think, right around the time of next year's CinemaCon. So they'll probably, and they've been shooting for a while, so I'm pretty sure they'll give us some kind of a presentation on it this year. They don't have Project Hail Mary this year, obviously.
No.
That was their big crown jewel at last year's presentation. But still not a bad lineup for Amazon MGM for only their second CinemaCon. Rob, anything on this list standing out to you? Can you think of any ones that I might be missing out on?
There's a couple of things. There's a movie coming out in September called How to Rob a Bank that was directed by David Leitch, and it stars Nicholas Hoult, Anna Sawai, and Christian Slater.
Yep.
And then there's Verity, which we've seen trailers for, that stars Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. Verity. And by the way, speaking of How to Rob a Bank, they also have one called Four Kids Walk into a Bank. I'm not kidding.
Right,
They got that one. And the Sheep Detective.
Right, that's coming out. The Sheep, with
Hugh
Jackman and Bryan Cranston doing some voices, the voice. There's a Russell Crowe movie directed by William Eubank called The Last Druid that comes out in November that he stars in. And then what about this, John? Highlander. We going to see any footage?
What's the release date on it again?
I don't know. They've also got the John Madden movie coming out that stars that David O. Russell directed, starring
That's right.
Nicolas Cage.
And Christian Bale, I believe.
And yep.
So there's that one too. So that one is looking pretty big. All right. Now let's go on to what is easily going to be the most disappointing of all the presentations this year, because they simply got nothing to show, but is Paramount. Now, I think what is a certainty, Sonic 4. Because that comes out, I believe, in March of next year, before the next CinemaCon. So I think they're definitely going to talk about Sonic 4, because that's kind of like their crown jewel right now. Then they got the Angry Birds movie 3. I forgot there was a number 2. Does anybody actually care about Angry Birds? Is anybody going to go watch this? I contend that the answer to all those questions is no, but whatever. We also have a Street Fighter movie coming from Paramount that, again, nobody is going to go see. I don't think this movie makes $200 million. I hope I'm wrong about that. I hope it turns out to be awesome, but it looks like absolute crap. So, but they got the Street Fighter coming. Now, the one thing they've got coming that I am legit excited for is Scary Movie. This is the one thing they've got on their docket, and I wasn't interested in it until the trailer came out. And I'm like, and I've never, again, I can't emphasize this enough. I have never liked any of the Scary movies. And I couldn't have cared less that they had a new Scary Movie coming. And then that trailer dropped. And I'm like, I laughed my guts out the whole way through it. I could not believe how clever it looked. And yeah, I'm actually legit excited about that. Go ahead.
Well, they've got a movie coming out I can't wait to see called Passenger. And it was a trailer we talked about with the two guys driving.
Yep.
And they're driving, and then one of them gets out of the car. Andre Overdahl, who directed The Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is, I think, one of the scariest films of the last 15 years. He did Troll Hunter and The Last Voyage of the Demeter. I think he's a really good director. I really want to see Passenger.
Yeah, it plays, the trailer itself plays like a YouTube short film.
Yeah.
Like a really effective YouTube horror short film. Anyway, there's still a couple more to touch on here. We've got Children of Blood and Bone. That's coming out in January.
And that sounds interesting. Chiwetel Ejiofor is in that. Idris Elba's in it, and Viola Davis is in it. What a cast! That's
we
a
of course
cast.
Got a new Jackass movie. Then I think we've got The Rescue coming. I think we've got another Christmas Tale one, an Ebenezer movie coming. So Rob, as you look down this list here, Sonic, Angry Birds, Street Fighter, Scary Movie, Passenger, like any one of these standing out to you the most that you're excited about?
I mean, other than Passenger, there's nothing I'm totally excited about. I mean, that the Children of Blood and Bone movie I'm interested in. Gina Prince Bythewood directed it only because of the cast, and it is a fantasy film. And it's only for streaming, but I don't know if it's theatrically released, but the Jack Ryan movie. They've got the Jack Ryan movie coming out that I want to see. but I don't think that's I think it's called Jack Ryan Ghost War, and that comes out in May next month. I don't know if they're going to give it a theatrical release, but you never know.
I see some people mentioning Quiet Place 3, but I believe that doesn't come out until like the late summer of next year.
Yeah, it's July of 2027.
Yeah, that'll be outside of, they probably won't touch on that this year. They'll wait till next year to touch on that one.
There is a movie coming out that I don't think many people might be interested in, but it stars one of my favorite actors, Richard E. Grant, stars in it. It's called Savage House, and it's set in the 18th century during a smallpox outbreak and a Jacobite uprising. And, so there you go. And during all of this, Sir Chauncey and Lady Savage blindly pursue a better life filled with iconic decadence and bloodshed. I'm in.
Iconic decadence and bloodshed.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, then we come to the final presentation on Thursday to wrap things up, and that is Disney's presentation. And, the Hollywood Reporter this morning put out an article that they're expecting, they've got some whispers and some word that Disney is going to go full blown this year, including a major presentation for Avengers Doomsday.
Oh,
Rob,
yeah.
You and I, let's get to that in a second. Let me just keep running down. So we got obviously Avengers Doomsday. We got Mandalorian, which we've got the number one most anticipated film of the summer, according to film fans, Toy Story 5.
Yep.
It's coming. We got the Moana live action, which I didn't like the trailer, but you're kidding yourself if you don't think this movie's going to make a ton of money. Here's the other thing. I've heard this. We can take this to the bank. Star Wars Starfighter. They are going to be on stage talking about Star Wars Starfighter.
Yeah, I would imagine cashing in on the Project Hail Mary, getting Gosling up there.
100%. So it comes out like the month after the next CinemaCon.
Yeah,
so I think that's
May 28th.
Right.
Of 2017.
They're going to be talking about Star Wars Starfighter. I fully expect we're going to get our first look at some footage on there. We got Devil Wears Prada 2, which is going to be one of the biggest films of the year. Yeah, I mean, those are just the ones I just kind of jotted down off the top of my head so just look at this lineup: Avengers Doomsday, Mandalorian, Toy Story 5, Moana, Starfighter, Prada 2, and I'm sure there are going to be a few others. So Rob, let's start with the main one here, obviously. Let's start with the big one here, Avengers Doomsday. So now Hollywood Reporter is saying that they're expecting them to do something pretty big with Avengers Doomsday.
Chair watch 2, buddy. Come on.
It's just going to be Chair watch 2. So there's two things. Actually, there's three things. Three things I'm expecting for Avengers Doomsday. One is a trailer. Now, I have, just to be clear, I am not reporting there's going to be a trailer. I'm just expecting it. I'm expecting there's going to be a trailer. There may not be. Nobody's told me that there is. I mean, I've heard other people believe there's going to be one too, but I'm expecting we're going to get a trailer. So that's one thing. And then that trailer, once it drops, will then be released online like an hour later, 2 hours later, 5 minutes later, whatever. They'll release it online after the presentation. The second thing I'm expecting is some full footage that they don't release online. Like they always do. They'll show us 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 15 minutes. I don't know. But Disney likes to go big at these things. Remember, they gave us full screenings of Shang-Chi. They showed us like the first 35 minutes of Doctor Strange. They always go pretty big. So that's the second thing. First thing, I'm expecting a trailer that will be released to the public later. Second thing, I'm expecting some sets of footage that we're going to get that they won't release online. And the third thing is I'm expecting to get some finality on the question of, are they going to move from December 18th to December 11th to take advantage of those open IMAX screens? I'm willing to bet $2 that they are going to do it. I wouldn't bet $20, but I'd bet $2 that they are going to do it and announce the move to that. So let's just kind of focus on Doomsday here for a second, Rob. What are you expecting and hoping we might see at the Doomsday presentation on Thursday?
I think they're going to do a star-studded extravaganza presentation. And if you were to ask me, yeah, I think they'll probably unveil a trailer. But I also think that they'll show us the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie. And the reason that I say that is because the opening of the film has been reported on quite a bit. So, and from what we know of the actual structure of the film, I think by showing us, there's three things that I think would be seen in the beginning of the movie. Obviously, the cold open action scene that kind of sets up what's going on. And then depending on how it's cut together or whatever, you're going to see some character introductions that will only leave you intrigued. So it's all set up. And I think they can get away with that, and they will leave people's jaws on the floor. And that's what they need to do.
Yeah, I think they are going to. I think CinemaCon is going to be the beginning of their campaign to make Avengers Doomsday the topic of conversation between now and December.
Yes.
And I think it kicks off on Thursday when
also
they do
because
that.
I think that there's also they're combating, I mean, not with the general population, but within certain circles that have been writing every day, reporting on things. There are things that, spoilers and this, that, and the other thing. I think what they are going to do is I think they need to present the tone of they did that with the first four, those releases.
Yeah.
And they gave you a taste of what's the stories and all that. But what's really cool at the beginning of, if I dare say without spoiling anything, I really like the structure of the first 30 minutes of the movie. If I knew about what that structure was, but let's say I do. I really liked how they do it's all set up, because it's crack. If you're fans of the MCU and all that, it's just one giant hit of crack cocaine for the imagination, one right after another. And if they show us that kind of thing, the audience is going to be like, whoa. They're going to be freaking out. And again, it comes down to the characters and the interplay and all of that. And I think people are going to go bananas.
Yeah.
They're theater owners that aren't necessarily the theater owners, that people have to understand, these are not the hardcore movie followers of movie blogs and watch YouTube. They're theater owners. And what Disney has to show them is the experiential event of the year is going to be Avengers Doomsday. Check it out. Don't take our word for it. Have a taste.
Yeah, they want to get the theaters excited. Now, I've seen some people in the live chat saying things, well, no, they're going to save a lot of stuff for D23 and Comic-Con. Guys, D23 and Comic-Con are fan events.
Yes.
Those are where fans go. They do not hold anything back that they want to show at CinemaCon, because that's for the theater owners. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff they show us at CinemaCon that they'll also show at one of the fan events, whether that's D23 or Comic-Con, for sure. But they're also going to show us a bunch of stuff that is just for the theater owners. They're going to show us a bunch of stuff that is not going to be released to the public. They do that every year.
And I also think, I think they're going to talk about cast. That's why
sure, 100%.
I joke about Chair Watch. But remember, this movie was supposed to come out. It was going to come out this summer. They pushed it back, I don't know, 6 months or a year. So what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to say, look who's in this movie. Yeah. And this isn't fans. I mean, the theater owners are the people that are going to want to, and let's say Doomsday, let's say they stand, I believe, like you do, they're going to announce that they've moved a week earlier, which they would love to tell the theater owners, because right now there's nothing coming out on that day, according to release schedules. So you've got an empty day in December.
Well, because it was going to be Jumanji.
Yeah. So now you have an empty day in December when people are coming home from school. Theater owners don't want that. So the greatest thing, can you imagine when they come out and one of the first things they're going to say is they've moved up Doomsday a week? Theater owners are going to go bananas. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's Robert Downey Jr. who walks out and makes some Dr. Doom joke and he says, you know what I've done? I've used my power and I'm releasing this movie a week early or whatever. It's going to be great. Whatever the presentation is going to be. And I wouldn't be surprised, dude, if they bring every single cast member out on stage. Every one of them. And because it'd be
That's
insane.
a lot of people to fly in.
But it would be insane. I mean,
yeah, I mean, with Thunderbolts, they brought the whole cast out at Thunderbolts. Yeah. I mean, look, okay. So guaranteed Robert Downey Jr. will be there. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think
Chris Evans.
I think guaranteed Chris Evans is going to be there. I think guaranteed Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is there every year, promoting all the different stuff that he's doing. But I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny if they brought out like 15 people
or more?
I mean, that's. Whew.
Oh. I mean, even characters, secondary characters that don't have big parts but are in the movie that people don't really know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gonna.
Some people are asking about Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige's always there. Yeah, Kevin Feige will definitely be there. He'll be out there to do that whole part of the presentation. Okay, let's move off Doomsday for a second and look at some of the other things that we've got lined up here for the Disney presentation.
And Mandalorian's first up. It's of their movies. That's the first movie that comes out. So it comes out next month, May 22nd.
Yep. So Mandalorian, Toy Story 5, Moana, Starfighter, and Prada 2. So I expect that they're going to talk about Mandalorian. I have a feel they'll probably have Dave Filoni and I forget the co-president's name now. Oh, I'm forgetting her name.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so I fully expect that the two heads, Dave Filoni and this girl whose name I'm freezing on right now, and probably Jon Favreau will come out on stage and they'll talk about Mandalorian and Grogu probably first, and also Starfighter. They'll bring up Sean. Why am I forgetting the director's name?
Sean Levy.
Ryan Gosling is always at CinemaCon, so I won't doubt they'll come on. With Mandalorian being so close, Rob, I'm thinking a full 10, 15 minutes. They're gonna show us like a full 10, 15 minutes of Mandalorian and because plus, it's so close.
You'll have Pedro Pascal will be there because he'll be there also for Doomsday. You'll have Sigourney Weaver, I'm sure, will be there. And they might have.
Do you know that's the first place I ever met Sigourney Weaver? Was at CinemaCon. My very first interview with her ever was at CinemaCon. It was like one of my great.
And thrills. Jeremy Allen White, you know.
Yep.
They'll probably have him come out. I would imagine they'll do big presentations because they don't have that many movies, and the ones they have is just banger after banger after banger. You've got Mandalorian and Grogu leading into Toy Story 5 in June, Moana in July, Spider-Man, which will be part of the Sony presentation. They have Hexed coming out in November. But that's not a big deal. And Doomsday. So they really only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 5 movies. And I would imagine if they're coming out like the trades are reporting, they're going to come out swinging. You think that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen aren't going to be there? Of course they are. Yeah,
for Toy Story. And then, of course, I mean, the one that nobody talks about is Devil Wears Prada 2, which is going to be one of the biggest films of the year.
But yeah, it's still Disney.
Right. That's still part of Disney's presentation.
And you'll have Emily Blunt, you'll have Anne Hathaway, and you're going to have the Street Monster come. Totally. And probably Stanley Tucci as well.
Oh, Stanley. I love Stanley Tucci, man. I love him so much. So there's going to be that. Now, the thing that I'm very curious about is how much of Starfighter they'll show us. Because they are finished principal photography on it. So they're done shooting it. I don't know how far they are into the post-production process, but I'm sure they have enough to give us like a 2-minute sizzle if they wanted to. Or, I mean, considering that there is going to be another CinemaCon prior to Starfighter coming out, maybe they only come out and talk about it. Maybe Sean Levy comes out, maybe show some still images and talk about it, or maybe they show some footage. What do you think?
I mean, I think they're going to do a Lucasfilm presentation. And those will be the 2 things that they talk about. So they'll break it out just like, so you'll have 20th Century Studios, you'll have Lucasfilm, Marvel, and Disney. So I would imagine that's what they would do.
So what do you think they'll show us? Or like, will they just talk about Star? Because I think you and I both agree Sean Levy will be there to talk about it. Do you think they're just going to talk about it? Or do you think they'll actually have some footage to show us?
I think they're going to show us like they did with Masters of the Universe, some kind of behind the scenes sizzle reel. Which I like.
That was really good, by the way. That was great last year.
And they show us costumes and characters because no one really knows anything at all about Starfighter. Maybe Amy Adams will show up. I don't know. They might have the cast, and because that again is something that if you look at, so after CinemaCon, the only things that Disney really has coming out is Ice Age. After Doomsday, they have Ice Age, they have Godot, and they have
forgot about
Starfighter.
Godot.
Yeah. So that's the Black Cat story. And so they don't have a lot coming out before Starfighter.
But they got some big things. Like, here's the other thing too. Let's not sell Moana short, because again, Dwayne Johnson loves going to CinemaCon. We know he's going to come out for Jumanji. He'll probably come out for Moana.
100%. And they'll introduce the girl playing Moana, and the two of them will have fun banter. And
they have to, because honestly, that last trailer they put out didn't do them a lot of favors. So they're going to have to double down their efforts on promoting this film now to kind of, make up for some of the ground they lost from the last trailer. So I think they're going to come out, give a big thing on that. I think you're right. I think we're going to have Tom Hanks there for Toy Story 5, or maybe not. Maybe we'll just have the Pixar people there to talk about it. But yeah, I think a lot of their 2-hour frame, I think a good half hour of it is just going to be for Doomsday. I really do. Yeah. I think a good half hour of their 2-hour presentation is just going to be Doomsday, talking about it, bringing people out, showing a trailer, showing footage, all that kind of stuff. Then maybe a good 20 minutes for Mandalorian and Starfighter as a part of a Lucasfilm thing. And they got a lot of time, man. They got 2 hours up there and a lot of stuff to get through.
And only really 5 movies to talk about.
Well, Avengers, Mandalorian, Toy Story, Moana, Starfighter, Devil Wears Prada 2.
That's true. I keep forgetting Fox.
Yeah, because we keep forgetting they are now under Disney. So, okay, Rob, we sit back now and we look at this overall schedule. The Sony Pictures one, the Warner Brothers one, the Universal one, Amazon's, Paramount's, and Walt Disney's. I'm torn between being most excited for the Warner Bros. Look, first of all, the Sony one is great. Spider-Man, Zelda, Jumanji 3, Social Reckoning, Spider-Verse. But the one I'm most excited about is now down between Warner Brothers, Dune 3, Supergirl, Godzilla x Kong, Mortal Kombat 2, End of Oak Street, Digger, Clayface, The Batman 2, maybe some Hunt for Gollum, maybe a little bit of talk of Man of Tomorrow. Universal's obviously got a solid one, The Odyssey. Christopher Nolan's going to come out for sure. Minions, and a couple other things. Amazon, not as strong as last year, but I'm really looking forward to see what they show us for He-Man. Paramount, I mean, hey, they got Scary Movie and Sonic 4. I will say I'm looking forward to seeing them talk about that. And then, of course, Disney. So for me, it's down between the Warner Brothers presentation and Disney's.
Yeah.
Because we just know we're going to get so much Doomsday at it. If you had to pick one, Rob, which would you say is the presentation you are most looking forward to?
Ooh, that's tough. Only because I know that Disney does such a great job, so I know it's going to be good. But I'm going to probably say Warner Brothers.
Really? What are the ones that pushes it over the edge for you there?
Well, it's hard to say because I keep thinking, Sony's got good stuff too, more than I would have thought. I don't know. I think everybody, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite. I mean, I want to say one, but then I think of, oh no, I want to see this, or oh no, I want to see that. I don't.
Okay, but let's say your pass for CinemaCon only gets you into one presentation. Which one are you going to go to watch?
I mean, it's you know what? I probably would go to Disney with the anticipation that we would see, because I really am excited for Doomsday. I mean, if I had to go to one movie, and that's the presentation that I would want to go to, I think, the most, only because that's what I want to see that, and I do want to see if they show Starfighter stuff, just the geek in me. But the cinema fan in me, I don't know. Sony, I mean, what's the Social Reckoning? I love Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah.
And I want to see what is that like? And doesn't Jeremy Allen White, he's in that movie too. So he'll show up for Lucasfilm and he'll show up for that.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, the Warner Brothers one looks so good.
It does.
But if my CinemaCon pass only was good for one presentation, it would also probably be Disney's. I mean, if for no other reason than I really want to see some Doomsday stuff. And I'm really very, very, very excited about Starfighter. So
There's something, we are forgetting something. And I want to say they had announced early on that like G Kids, there's a presentation that is not from a major studio. It's just talking about upcoming movies, and they're going to show Godzilla -0.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and I think it's on the CinemaCon. I was looking at the CinemaCon app. So it's actually the very first pre-studio presentation. I think it's on Monday morning. Remember I went to one a couple years ago when Neon showed they showed like the David Bowie Moonlight Kingdom, and they showed, I wanted to see the presentation because it was like the Shrouds, Cronenberg's new movie. They did that presentation. So yeah, I mean that I look, I want to see anything to do with the new Godzilla movie from Toho. I can't wait.
By the way, just a couple of things. Some people are asking in the live chat if DeLuca and Abdi will be there. DeLuca and Abdi are the heads of Warner Brothers. They're there every year. They're there every year. They run the Warner Brothers presentation. So there's that. Somebody's asking, will they talk about X-Men? They will absolutely not talk about X-Men. X-Men is just too far away. Far too far away to talk about here. So that won't be there either. All right. Well, this is the way it's going to work now, guys. We are going to get out to CinemaCon, so you can pretty much expect us to we're going to do a live stream from Vegas following each one of the presentations. Now, the only one that we may not is we might, on Wednesday, April 15th, we might not do a Universal Pictures one by itself because there's such a short turnaround time between, because Universal's ends at practically 6 o'clock and then Amazon starts at 8:30. I don't think there's enough time for us to, eat dinner, go back, do a live stream and get back. So what we'll probably have to do is we're definitely gonna do one after Sony's on Monday. We'll definitely do a live stream after Warner Brothers on Tuesday. And then what we'll probably do is we'll probably double up Universal and Amazon MGM's together into one live stream late Wednesday night. And then we will do two separate streams for Paramount on Thursday and Disney's on Thursday. Only because I don't think the Paramount one is going to have to be very long. I think that live stream will probably be like 30 to 45 minutes. So we'll do that, have lunch, go to the Disney Studios one, then we'll do our big wrap-up one. So we're going to have a lot of coverage, as we do every year. Coming to you from CinemaCon. Of course, it's going to be me and Rob and Soul Video and Cody Miller are going to be all out there, and we're looking forward to doing it. I'm really, really excited. And Rob, it's going to be a good one this year.
I'm looking forward to it, man. A lot of great stuff. Great stuff.
Going to be good one this year. All right. So guys, it's now time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is taking your comments and questions that you guys have been sending in. I have turned off the super chats because they filled up. But before we go or get to that, we want to bid good afternoon to Robert Meyer Burnett. Rob, the next time I see you will be Sunday night in Las Vegas.
Yes, you will. And I hope that Cody and I do as well as at the blackjack table as we did last year. And I also want to give a big shout out, John, to the crew of Artemis 2. They will be splashing down around 5 o'clock our time on the Pacific coast. So Godspeed, Artemis, and welcome back to Earth.
All right. So guys, let's now get on to your questions that you guys have been sending in, shall we? We're going to start things off here with, what are we starting off with? We're starting off with Chris, who writes, they pushed back Mortal Kombat 2 to ride the tails of the boys, and I fell for it. Brilliant. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying, because Mortal Kombat 2 was originally, I believe, supposed to come out in October, this past October. I don't think they moved it to piggyback on the boys. Although that wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, like with Carl Urban and everything. I don't think that's why they did it, but it wouldn't have been the worst idea in the world to do it that way. All right. Paul Roberts writes, John, I've just purchased my tickets for Michael in Gold Class at my local movie theater in New Zealand. I am so looking forward to this movie. I went to see Michael Jackson when he came over to perform in 1996. He was absolutely amazing. I mean, there are some people believe, like, listen, I'm like everybody else. I grew up with Michael Jackson's music. I'm a fan of the music. But I mean, like, there's a lot of people believe he was simply the greatest musical performer ever, like him, James Brown, guys like that. And I still remember me telling people, guys, if they do this movie, and now they are, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. A lot of people are going to be going to see this movie, man. Don't sleep on it. All right. Who is Chris writes? Michael, going back to Michael is now tracking for a $100+ million domestic opening weekend. And you can see its Berlin premiere event is happening this weekend. This movie is going to make a shit ton. It absolutely is. I mean, it's easily going to break the record that Bohemian Rhapsody currently has as the biggest opening weekend for a musical biopic. Michael is going to destroy that record. It's going to absolutely destroy that record. Now, Bohemian Rhapsody almost came this close to being a $1 billion film. It didn't quite get over the $1 billion mark, but it got close. Now, can Michael get to the $1 billion mark? I think it can, but it all depends on whether it's really good or not. If it's really quite good, I see it being a $1 billion film. But we will have to wait and see. All right. Let's see here. Next up. Who is Chris also writes, is it wild to say Michael will be top 3 biggest selling movie this year? It's possible. I mean, obviously your top 2 are going to be Avengers, Doomsday, and Spider-Man. Like, those are your top 2. But to get into the top 3 means you got to beat out a Minions movie. That's a franchise that's been $1 billion. Toy Story, which has had a couple of $1 billion films. Devil Wears Prada is not necessarily going to be a $1 billion film, but it's going to be really big. So it's not going to be in the top 2. So can it beat out Toy Story, Odyssey, Minions? Can it beat out those movies to get in the 3rd spot? I wouldn't bet that it'll get in the top 3, but it's got a chance. It's got a chance. All right. Next up. Jai CSC writes, get the soundboard ready, Jonathan. Jonathan's not here on Fridays. I've crossed 2 more movies on my to-watch list this week. Training Day, that won Denzel Washington an Oscar, by the way. What a performance by Denzel, and Inglourious Bastards. Another really good one. Just 2 more Tarantino films to go, Hateful Eight and Death Proof. And listen, I know if there were ever going to be 2 Quentin Tarantino films you can skip, I would say it's The Hateful Eight and Death Proof. Yeah. And not every Quentin Tarantino film is an absolute unmitigated masterpiece, and no filmmaker is. But if anybody were to ask me if there were just 2 Quentin Tarantino films I could skip, which would it be? I would probably definitely say Death Proof. I think that's his worst film. And then the other one would probably be The Hateful Eight. But yeah, there's that. All right. Next up, we got Dante writes, hey, John, not sure if you've heard yet, but Variety confirmed yesterday that we're officially getting a Behind the Mask sequel. Yes, I heard about it. The whole cast and crew will be back. Are you excited? I am. I think, like, when a lot of people ask me over the years, hey, what's a hidden little horror gem you like? One of my all-time favorites is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. And it did get announced yesterday that they are, after 20 years, doing a sequel to it. Nobody's even watched the original except me. I feel like I'm the only one who's seen the original. Guys, if you have not seen Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon, it's absolutely brilliant. It's a great commentary on the horror genre, while also being a great horror comedy and being a great 80s style horror slasher. It's a wonderful film. See it, enjoy it, and try to get in on it before they make a sequel to it, which I'm really excited about. Okay. Let's get over to the super chats you guys have been sending in, shall we? We're going to start off things here with Jai CSC, who writes, 1 of 2. You've said that studio presentations at CinemaCon are, for want of a better term, pitches to theaters to devote screens and resources to the show, to show their movies. I get the need to convince local and independent theaters, but for major chains like AMC, isn't that decision up to the head offices? Yes, and all of the head offices are also going to be at CinemaCon. And the studios want to get the heads of the theater chains excited about their movies, to dedicate. And by the way, individual general managers have a lot of power to decide what gets promoted. So they want these movie theaters to not only give them the choicest screens and the most screens, but they also want them to get as excited about the movies as possible, to put up the most promotion, the most standees, all that kind of stuff. They need the theaters to get enthusiastic about their films. That's the number one thing they got to do. And they need to do that with the small independent theater owners, but they also need to do that with Regal and Cinemark and Landmark and AMC. That's why all the heads of all these movie theater chains are also there. So they're a part of it as well. All right. Let's see. Next up, we've got Empire Strikes Back to the Future writes, why does Hollywood... Oh, okay, I was talking to them about this before the show started. Why does Hollywood keep hiring Jared Leto when he's a proven franchise killer? He is not. Just get rid of that nonsense right now. He is not. Joker in the DCEU, Morbius, Tron, and next He-Man. I don't get it. Okay. Your statement makes an assumption that if Morbius was still the same script and still the same movie, but you just plucked out Jared Leto and put in somebody else, that all of a sudden Morbius was going to be a big blockbuster hit. It was not. As somebody who really didn't like Morbius, Jared Leto was not the problem with that movie. Jared Leto was not the problem with that movie. Jared Leto was not in Madam Web, so why did that one flop? Jared Leto was not in Kraven the Hunter, so why did that flop? Your statement assumes that Morbius was a guaranteed hit if only they didn't have Jared Leto in it. And that's just not the case. And the great example of that is Christian Bale. Is Christian Bale box office poison? Do people hate Christian Bale? Because I'll tell you right now, every one of his films he's done in the last 13 years has bombed and flopped hard. The only film he's done in the last 13 years or so that didn't totally flop was a Thor movie, which was going to make big money no matter who was in it. Like, it was already a pre-existing franchise. And that was in Love and Thunder. He did The Bride, which flopped. The Pale Blue Eye, which I don't even think went into theaters. He did Amsterdam with Margot Robbie and all that. Totally flopped. I don't even think that made $100 million. Ford v Ferrari was a great movie, but not many people went to go see it. He did Vice, which totally flopped. He did Hostiles, which totally flopped. He did The Promise, which totally flopped. And he did The Big Short, which did not flop, but didn't do great money. We're all the way back to 2015 now. He did Exodus, Gods and Kings. That flopped. You got to go all the way back to 2013 for Christian Bale to American Hustle. And even that didn't do big box. Actually, how much money did American Hustle make? I don't even think it was that much. American Hustle, and that had a great cast in it. Amy Adams was in that as well. American Hustle only made $250 million. So here's what I'm putting to you is this. Do you think any of those Christian Bale movies I just mentioned would have, just like that, been big hits if you just took out Christian Bale and put in another actor? No. Morbius, Jared Leto was actually the strong thing. I even go to Tron Ares. Jared Leto was easily the best part of that movie. But I told everybody when they announced that they were doing a Tron Ares movie, I told everybody, I said, no one's going to go see it. Nobody cares about Tron anymore. Like before they ever announced that Jared Leto was going to be in it, I said, like, nobody cares about Tron anymore. They tried to bring it back with Tron Legacy. Was that the name of the last one? Tron Legacy? And it didn't work. They thought it could have been $1 billion film. It made one Black Adam. And it was what it was. But yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. Now, you put Jared Leto in a movie with a really good script and, you know, a decent director, he'll shine as much as he's an incredibly gifted actor. He's really good. So again, if you're going to say that, you know, Jared Leto is box office poison, he's a franchise killer, well, then you got to say the same thing about Christian Bale, because the last 13 years, everything he's been in has flopped. Does that mean people don't like him? Of course people like Christian Bale. Does that mean Christian Bale can't act? Of course Christian Bale can act. It's just that he's been in a lot of movies that weren't going to do necessarily well, regardless of who was in it. And you can say a lot the same about Jared Leto too. But anyway, that's just, I just thought I'd bring up some data there to throw in with that. All right. Let's move on here. Next up, we've got Christopher Brickner, who writes, I don't think Star Wars Starfighter would make Fandango's 10 most anticipated summer films. I guarantee you it will. I 100% guarantee you it will. As a general, audiences have been burned by recent Star Wars, so they're on a wait and see basis with Star Wars. I 100% guarantee you that next year when Fandango does its fan survey about the most anticipated movies of the summer, because they just did that for this summer, and Mandalorian and Grogu did not make the list. But again, that has a lot to do with the fact that it's just a continuation of a Disney Plus TV series whose last season wasn't very good. I mean, I've been saying, guys, on this show forever that, like, I don't know that Mandalorian and Grogu is going to really get anybody to go see it that in big numbers, because it's just another episode of the television show that not everybody watches, and the last season was bad. I guarantee you, while Starfighter with Ryan Gosling is not going to be number 1 or number 2 on next year's top 10 most anticipated list by the fans, I guarantee you it'll be in the top 10. I absolutely guarantee you it'll be in the top 10. Zero doubt. Zero doubt. All right. With that down, thanks, Christopher. Tom Anderson writes, you should do an editorial on Sony ruining Alamo Drafthouse into the ground by making people use their phones during the movies. I don't think that has any impact on anything, to be honest with you. I really don't. Now, I don't go to Alamo Drafthouse anyway. But yeah, I know one of the trades did an article on like some of the changes that have happened at Alamo since Sony took it over, but I don't think the way they get people to use their phones, I don't think that made or break anything. I could be wrong about that, but I really haven't heard anybody complain about it, but that's just me. All right. Thanks, Tom. Next up, Mark Sip writes, looking forward to CinemaCon week. My personal favorite coverage that you guys do. Thank you so much. It's the John Campea Show version of Sweeps Week, to use a term that all the kids will appreciate. Yeah, listen, man, I got to tell you, it is the week. It's the thing I look forward to the most every year. It is my favorite thing about this job. It's every year just going to CinemaCon. Like Ann and I even decided that once I retire, she and I are still going to go to CinemaCon, but doing the coverage at CinemaCon is one of the favorite things that we do. I won't tell you who, but the guys all know. After last year's CinemaCon, let me do a little honking of our own horn here just for a second. After last year's CinemaCon, I got a message from one of the head publicity people at one of the big studios. And they asked me if I would be available for a phone call with the head of the studio. 100% true. The guys, you know, everybody knows about this who works here, but they literally asked me if I would be open to having a phone call with the head of the studio. And I said, sure. I had no idea at the time what it was about. But at any rate, the day came, we jumped on a call, and I was talking to the head of the studio, and they just said, listen, I just wanted to talk to you and let you know that we love your CinemaCon coverage. He literally told I think you guys are the best at it. And just wanted to just tell you how much we appreciate like the way you cover CinemaCon. And he talked about, cause we talked about a couple of their movies in not so glowing terms, because you guys are hard, but you're fair and, and stuff like that. And it's just, I think it's something we do really well. We don't do everything well. There's a lot we don't do well, but I think covering CinemaCon is one of the things that we do well. And yeah, it was pretty fun getting that. I won't give any other hints, but Joe Adonis is saying, I assume it was Zaslav. It wasn't Zaslav. It wasn't Warner Brothers. But I won't narrow it down anymore, but I can tell you it was not Zaslav. Anyway, there's that. All right. Thanks for that, dude. I appreciate that. Oh, and by the way, Mark had sent in a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate this support, man. That's very generous of you. All right. Rich Reviews writes, you should come to the Virginia Film Festival. I've honestly never heard of it, considering that I live in that area. The VFF will be celebrating 38 years this year, 5 days and 100 films. Would love for you geniuses to rub off on me. I'll be honest with you, I've never heard of the Virginia Film Festival. So I probably, but you know what? That does remind me that we're probably going to start up the movie meetup tour again soon, probably within the next month. And again, we will add more later, but the next 3 stop, like the next little loop we do, we're going to do 3 stops. It's going to be the Boston area, New York area, and Columbus, Ohio. Those are going to be the 3 that we do. And then since I'll be up there, I'll shoot across the border and go visit home for a bit. But that will be probably either in late April, probably more likely in May sometime. So keep your ears open for when we start doing the next push out there. All right. Thanks for that, Rich. Next up, we also get from Rich, who writes, one of the best Alamo experiences I ever had was the sing-along version of Jesus Christ Superstar. Fun fact, Ted Neely, who played Jesus, will turn 83 this year. I don't know any of the words, but I know the music. I've never gone to a sing-along version of any movie. The only one I've ever been tempted to do was The Greatest Showman. I saw some video footage from A Greatest Showman sing-along. It looked awesome. I would love to do that sometime. King Daddy Goat writes, Behind the Mask 2 announced. Holy shit, John. I know. I cannot believe that they are doing a Behind the Mask 2. I can't believe it. I mean, I don't think anybody is happier about it than me. I am ludicrously happy about this. But I never would have thought they would do it because like nobody's seen the first one. I keep telling everybody about it, but nobody's seen the first one. I am so excited that they're doing it. I really, really am. All right. Next up, Mega Red writes, I'm going to Vegas in 3 weeks for a bachelor party road trip ending in LA. Nice. Hoping to convince everyone to go to Bacchanal. What's your recommendation for 8 dudes, half of first timers in Vegas? Well, first of all, so for those of you who don't know, Bacchanal is the buffet at Caesar's Palace. I think it's the best buffet in the world. I really do mean that. It's expensive. It's really expensive, but you get more than your money's worth. Like I'm not a seafood guy, so I don't like crab and crab legs and all that kind of stuff. But I know like when I go and take guys, like when Ray goes and I take Ray there, he'll like eat 75 pounds of crab legs, but the food is ridiculously good. And so like for a group of 8, a buffet is a really good thing to do. And there's not many buffets left in Vegas, but the Bacchanal in Vegas, I think you're paying like $85 a person just to prepare yourself. I think it's like 85 or more per person. But again, you are getting your money's worth. It is all the food at Bacchanal is so ridiculously good. So good. So I do recommend you guys going to Bacchanal. It's expensive, but I mean, it's less expensive than some other restaurants you could go to, but you will get your money's worth. 100% you'll get your money's worth. Let's see. Next up, Never Lose Your Nerd writes, I'm excited for the Godzilla movie news and info. Both Godzillas, the Godzilla Minus and the Godzilla X Kong Supernova. I'm excited for both of them. I cannot wait to see what we're going to get there. All right. And the last one today, we're going to end things off here with Svein, who writes, man, Noah Wiley and Catherine Denasa are killing it on The Pit this season. Their conversation outside the hospital at the end of that last week's episode was peak. Jeff Kober also gives powerhouse performances as Duke. Listen, man, I am shocked how good The Pit is. Like when it first came out and I heard some people talking about, man, you should check out this new The Pit show. I mean, like everybody else, I thought maybe it was a ER sequel because Noah Wiley was in it, but it's very, very different from ER. But I've never been a big fan of like the medical procedurals. Like I wasn't a big ER guy. I watched some ER, but I'm not a big ER guy. I was never a big Saint Elsewhere guy. Or Grey's Anatomy. Although I watched some Grey's Anatomy. A friend of mine who's actually getting married this weekend, Ann and I are going to their wedding this weekend, is in Grey's Anatomy. But so don't let him hear me say that I don't actually watch it very regularly, but I did for a while. There's a time, but I've never been a big medical procedural guy. And Ann and I both got instantly hooked on the Pit. Instantly hooked. I just can't believe how good the human drama of it is. The characters are so good. They just do it so beautifully that I'm a really big fan of it, man. I'm a really, really big fan of it. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in all those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about, but also you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. By the way, guys, I want to let you know, I put up a new, you can see right here, I put up a new editorial last night called The Blade Disaster. Basically what it is a editorial that looks back at the history of from the moment they announced the new Blade movie, the long process of all the different writers and directors that we went through. What are the challenges? What's keeping us from getting the Blade movie? What's the likelihood of us getting the Blade movie? Anyway, I put a lot of work into that video. It's up there now. Called The Blade Disaster, Why Marvel Can't Get the Daywalker to the Screen. Go check it out. Go watch it and like it and share it and all that kind of stuff. It would be great. And the next time I see you guys, I will be in Las Vegas, baby. Now, we might even do a little stream on Sunday night, depending on how late we get into Vegas, but we might do a little stream on Sunday night just to talk about, maybe show some pictures or whatever, but we're definitely starting our full coverage on Monday. I'm looking forward to a lot, guys. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you all. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.